So we're back. We're still in quarantine, or social distancing and stay-home order and all of that jazz. Oh, man. Yeah. Let's get into it. So the title of this is Be Curious. And the reason is because, as I mentioned, we're still in that social distancing, stay at home as much as possible, self-quarantining kind of point in our lives and all of this. And part of what comes with that is the whole social part that we're missing now. Because suddenly a lot of us who, either live by ourselves or just live with one other person, we're kind of starved. And I talked about that in the last video, the whole, check on your peeps, check on your friends, check on the people who you care about who need social interaction. And I tried to be better about it last week, and I feel a lot better for it because I called friends. In fact, I think there's still a couple of my friends on a video group chat right now that are still hanging out while this is going. And because of it, I'm feeling better. I'm able to just kind of breathe and talk to people and kind of get some of that anxiety we talked about before, about, that pent-up energy from not having talked to people. Now comes the next big thing that we all have to kind of go through during this, and that's fighting off the boredom and the need to go out and do stuff and adventure. And I get it. It's great. I mean, we're all naturally curious. Some of us want to treat it like a vacation to kind of help with the mindset that we're in, that we're stuck. But we have to remember that we really should not be leaving the house unless absolutely necessary. And part of the whole stay-at-home order is that you only are supposed to go out if you have to. Like if you have to go get groceries because you're running out. That's fine. Be safe about it. If you have to go to the doctor for some reason, for some medical purpose, you've called ahead, they said come in, all of that stuff. And of course, like if you're one of the essential workers, like my husband happens to be, he has to go into work right now. So he's going in, he's being safe. We're trying to make sure that we don't go any extra places. But during this time, we have this itch, especially for those of us, like if you're like me, I currently don't have a job right now because I work with schools. So until the schools go back in, I'm kind of just floating around waiting to see what's going to happen. And that leaves me with a lot of free time. And if you're in that situation, it's very easy and very tempting to just be like, I should just go to a park. Or let's go walk around Walmart and see if we need something. Or, let's go figure these things out. Or I never had time to go do this. And as tempting as it is, we have to fight that because we know it's not good for ourselves or anybody else that we come into contact with. With that in mind, that still leaves the itch to do something, that need to keep busy and have fun and do stuff. And when we're faced with this, we start to get a little anxious and frustrated and, all of the little energy building up and you want to do something. This is the time to explore hobbies that you could be doing at home. This is the time to crack open those books that you never get to read. This is the time to connect with other people. Figure out how Facebook works. Figure out how Messenger has video options. Figure out which messaging apps have games, what video games are out. And to be curious again. So one of the things that I started to do was I used to crochet a lot. And I stopped doing it for a while, partly because I was busy, partly because I don't know, I can't sit for long periods of time sometimes and just focus on something. But once I started doing video chatting with my friends, I kind of like to keep busy, when we're talking, just doing something with my hands. So I started crocheting. And it helped fight off the boredom because I suddenly had this project. And Marble's going to break my thing. Hold on. We're fighting with Marble right now because she's had some angsty teenage behavior lately. Anyway, so I was working on a project and I was super excited about it, and then I got super frustrated with it because, trying to get it together, trying to make it do the stuff that I needed to do. And today, I was going to say a week, but I don't think it's been a week. I think it's been a couple of days. I finally finished. So this is my dragonfly, guys. Isn't he cute? We named him Norbert after the dragon from Harry Potter. It's very cute. Stitched them all together today and he's all done. I sent glamour shots to my family earlier because I'm very proud of this guy. And I don't think I would have done it if I didn't have this amount of time to just do something. Find a hobby to pick up. Find a book to read, you know? I have had there's a pattern book that I've had for years that has a bunch of stuffed animals that you can make. And I just never picked it up. And I have it right here. And I never picked it up. I always looked at it and I opened it up. And if you've ever, if you're familiar with crocheting and like crocheting and knitting, you're familiar that some of these patterns look a little weird. Like it's flipped in my video, but they can be very confusing. It's a slip loop from safety pin onto crochet hook SC and next 5 SC, ST2T2, around 36 SC. And if you don't know what that means, you probably don't crochet. And so just like glancing at this, not, I'm not a professional. I don't do this constantly. It's a hobby. It was very intimidating. And I didn't want to do it. I have this weird mental state where if I haven't done it, I haven't failed at it either. So I've just been kind of avoiding doing it. And then I finally said, you know what? I've got nothing better to do. Let's try to make a dragonfly 100 times until I get it right. So I just finally opened the book and I folded it in so that it wouldn't close. And I started 2 or 3 times because I tried it and I didn't like how it came out. Couldn't figure out how to do it. Undid it, redid it, undid it, redid it. And I just did it a bunch of times because I was in that mindset where I was like, I'm going to at least start it correctly. And then I eventually still gave up anyway. And the next time I got on a group chat with my friends, I just pulled up YouTube videos and I started looking, how am I supposed to do this? And I finally started it and I realized it was a lot easier than I thought. I just hadn't practiced in a while and I was doing the wrong thing. And once I got it going, got the right thing going, our little Norbert here came into being and I'm very proud of myself. I feel very satisfied. All of that energy to need to do something kind of went away. All because I finally decided to be curious. Remember when you were a kid and your parents are constantly, don't touch that, don't do that, you're going to make a mess and you're going to do this. That was our curiosity, trying to teach, help us teach ourselves about the world and learn all of these cool little things. This is the time to do it. If you find a bug in your backyard and you don't know what it is, search it. Use Google. Yes, we're stuck inside our houses by ourselves or with our families, but we still have the internet. We still have things that we can look up. You can, Google search all the different bugs that there are. What's going to be coming out in this season? What should you be looking out for? And you can go look at it. You can go figure out which plants are in your backyard. Start Google searching. There's apps for that. There's reverse picture search. There are so many resources that you have to sate those little curiosities. And a lot of the times we put that off because, I don't have time. Oh, what kind of plant is this? I don't know. Oh, well, I don't have time to look for it. I got to go do something else. Or I'm busy. Or I have this and I have that. Yeah, we kind of aren't busy right now. We're at home. We're figuring out what to do with our time. And that's an easy thing that we can do to help quell that antsiness, that need to go out and do something. Turn your house into its own little amusement park for yourself. Go figure out what stuff is again. In our house, we have 2 Xboxes because I had one and then my husband had one, and now we have 2 because we came together in the same house and now we have 2. But I don't remember the last time I have played games on the Xbox. So then this would be the time to bust out a controller, pick a game, play it, see if we can get good at it. We have the time. This is the time where you train your cats to do a thing. I learned that I can train my cats to sit before I feed them, and I would not have done it if I did not have all of this time to suddenly be like, who says you can't train a cat? And they might not like it, But every time I get up to their food bowl with their food, I tell them, sit, and they both plop down and they wait for me to serve them. And that feels very satisfying because they're a little more patient, a little more quiet, not quite as yappy in the morning, especially when I'm just getting up. And it's just a cool little thing that I learned that you can do. You can train cats. I've trained one of them to fear the bottle, but that's mostly because it's the one thing we figured out that affects her at all, because you can yell at her from across the room to tell her to stop and she won't. But if you pull out the bottle, you don't have to spray her, you just have to have her see it and she stops. You can figure out how to crochet. There are plenty of books. One of the things I tried to put off with this was that I didn't have these safety eyes. So they're a very specific type of crafting thing. So they're like the little eyes. You put it in and it has a lock on the back, so that way it's not supposed to just come off if like kids chewing on it. So I didn't have those. I also didn't have a bag of stuffing. So what am I supposed to stuff this with? Instead of just giving up, I decided, you know what? There has to be enough junk in my house that something's got to have stuffing, or I can stuff something with this, that it is going to be okay. Lo and behold, we have a pillow from my bridal shower back home that at the bottom unzips and reveals all of the stuffing inside. Now, we don't usually use this pillow because we're not decorative pillow kind of people. So I stole some stuffing. I got distracted because this cat is sitting on my lap, but also being angry that I touched her while she's on my lap. I'm also learning my cat's personal space issues. It's very interesting. So anyway, I found stuffing and I stuffed it, and now it's cute in its existence, and I wouldn't have done it otherwise. My point is, this is the time to be curious. How does this work? I don't know. Let's find out. How do you do nails? Figure out how to do nail art. You have polishes, you have brushes in your house. You don't have to be fancy brushes. Like this might be an acrylic paintbrush, but I have used it for nail art, probably have used it for makeup too. For whatever purpose comes up, I can use it. How do you learn a new language? There's this amazing app called Duolingo that you just go on there, you test on a language that you want to learn, and it starts a lesson wherever you're at. I've been brushing up on my Spanish. You can learn Spanish, French, German. I'm pretty sure that there's Japanese on there because I think my sister learns it. And all sorts of languages. So pick it up. If you have kids, figure out what they want to do. I'm sure they have plenty of interests, and there's a lot of things that they haven't discovered yet that you can show them. You can show them your favorite movies from when you were a kid, your favorite TV shows, the games that you used to play. There are people that are inventing new kinds of hopscotch. So they're putting like a footprint on a piece of paper and then a handprint, and they're lining them up in different combinations, so you have to do 3 at a time, 2 feet in a hand, and where you gotta land on them. It's a lot like Dance Dance Revolution, but like on the floor. And that's how they're passing their time. One of my favorite things about my childhood is that my mom always kept us really busy. She would do finger painting. We would do arts and crafts, different things. We've made Christmas ornaments. Granted, they were not very good in hindsight, but we thought it was really cool and we enjoyed it. We went outside in the backyard and ran around. You can still have fun and enjoy life when you're home. You don't have to go out to fancy museums. You don't have to go out of the house to find entertainment. There's plenty in our house. And if you're looking for free resources, ask your friends. I have seen so many people on my Facebook feed just, hey, a teacher friend needs plays and productions that she can show her students. And the amount of resources that are out there just blow me away. I had all sorts of classmates and teachers that I've had who just kept sharing links to different plays that were out there. One of my favorite plays, Taming of the Shrew, is on YouTube in broken up segments, but you can watch it straight through. There on Google right now is you can tour museums and look at artwork that you would not have otherwise had the time to do, because people are trying to help give us something to focus on aside from what's going on outside. Yeah, it's really scary out there, and it's very easy to panic because there's a lot of unknown. There's a lot of fancy lingo that comes with talking about diseases and all of these things that I'm not an expert on. I did not go to school for medicine or for any sorts of biology. I'm a communications major. I did theater. That's what I did. So all of that's very foreign. It could be very easily scare me and say, oh, I don't know what that is. It must be terrifying. But we have to remember, they are giving us instructions on how to best handle this. The people who do know. They're telling us to stay home, to stay positive, and only go out if absolutely necessary. And to make it easier, people who are like me, who are the communications, the arts people, actors, singers, performers, we're all trying to give you content that you can sit and watch and forget about it a little bit, that you can do at home. There was this really cool thing that I might have to do this weekend where you can tape yarn to the wall and make it like a laser obstacle course, like the way you see in the movies where the spy is jumping through all of these lasers. You can do that with yarn in a hallway, and it looks so cool, and it's a lot of fun. You can try it now. What else are you doing? Most people have yarn or string in their house and tape it up to the wall. Have a contest with your family. Go, like I said, check out bugs. Figure out where rocks come from. Do walkthroughs of museums that are on Google and on the internet. Watch plays that are on YouTube. Find all of this content that people are providing and take your mind off of it for a minute. Remember that just because there's so much bad going on, there's still so much good. It doesn't change that. And if you're tempted to go outside, please don't. Or I'm going to have to order me a Nerf gun and start shooting people and being like, go back inside. Or what, in Italy, I think, they have politicians that are yelling at people in the streets telling them, stop playing basketball, go inside and play your Xbox or your PlayStation. So quite a turnaround from what it used to be. Stop on your video games, go outside. Most importantly, remember that you have to be optimistic. You can't give up. You have to find the good in the world, because there's so much bad that you can drown it out, but there's just so much more good. So before you step outside, think, do I absolutely have to do this right now? And then let your laziness kick in and watch Netflix all day. It's okay right now. It's socially acceptable right now to stay home and watch Netflix all day. Or figure out how to do yoga. Until next time, I'm going to go do yoga and probably learn how to make Norbert a friend. Thanks for watching.